Hej, tu Bechier w kolejnym odcinku The First Tree, drugim, gdzie biegamy sobie lisicą w śnie narratora. Nie, to jest chyba to miejsce, w którym już byłem. To dlaczego to się tutaj dalej świeci? I robimy jakieś rzeczki. No tak, to już byłem. To o co tu chodzi? Okej, no ale dobra, to... No to dalej się coś z tym robi. No ale zmieniło kolor. No zobaczymy. Teraz pójdźmy tam. O. O, okej, tam są 3. To po drodze mogę je spróbować zebrać. O, nawet dostałem achievement za gwiazdki. Nie żeby to było jakieś szczególnie trudne. Ale może nie wszystkim chce się je zbierać. Okej. Kolejne podskakujące coś. Nie do końca rozumiem, co ja tutaj zrobiłem. No ale... O!
Even at my most distant, at the times when I detested him the most, he kept reaching out. For a year straight, he asked me every week when we were going camping. I thought he was just dense. Eventually, to shut him up, I agreed. We carried out the worn lawn chairs from the garage and set up a cinder block campfire at the site we'd always used behind the house. We walked down the mountain path, talking in the warm sunshine we only got a couple months of the year. Those 3 obsidian rocks shimmered alongside the shore, almost like sparklers pressed against a dark window. I'll never forget that wet stone on my feet, or how those massive mountains looked even bigger in the lake's reflection. I felt small, but grateful. As the sun set, my dad found something I hadn't seen for a long time. The tree where I'd made my first carving when I was 6. I hadn't even carved it. My dad had helped me, but I still called it my tree. Something about seeing my name there made me open up, and we talked about everything that night in that old camouflage tent. I told him how much I loved sketching and design, and how it would be a dream to study architecture in Seattle. I told him how I didn't get along with my friends much anymore, but that I didn't mind being alone. He told me he was there for me, and he joked that if all he had to do was write my name on a tree to finally get me to talk, he would have left me carved logs with novels on them in front of my room every morning. I don't know why it took me that long to realize it, but it was then I knew how much he had sacrificed for me.
sumie to w wielu przypadkach rodzice właśnie tacy są, że poświęcają się dla nas, dla swoich dzieci i kiedy patrzy się w retrospekcji na to, jakie głupoty potrafimy czasami robić, jak przykre rzeczy potrafimy mówić, to powinno nam się zrobić strasznie głupio. Okej, coś odblokowałem. Tu już chyba nic nie ma. O! Gwiazdka. O! Tam... Nie wiem co to jest. A! To możliwe, że tam to poprzednie? Nie. Nie wiem. Chyba nie. Podbiegnę tam. Zobaczę co tam się dzieje. Jakie wspomnienie mogę wykopać.
We were happiest underneath the evergreens. We decided it was time to finally map out the hundreds of acres we lived on just to pass the time during the summer. He was only free in the evenings, so I would spend the day wasting time on dial-up internet and sketching, and then we would rush into the woods, pen and map in hand, before evening fell. Sometimes the aurora borealis would cast a cold green glow on the mountainside, and we would finish our route underneath a twilight sky. Sometimes I was lonely during those summer days, but there was comfort in the routine.
A lot of teenagers aren't looking for the daily grind, though. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get out, to leave your childhood home. You wanted to progress, to make something of yourself.
Yeah, you're right. That house. I'm sure it's the same as how I left it. But then why does it feel so different?
I doubt you're the only adult to have looked back and asked that question.
My dad built a lot of stuff in his free time. If he wasn't watching fly fishing or reading Tom Clancy novels, he was carving something. He made tons of birdhouses. Not that he was into bird watching, but I think he really missed working and adding on to the home. If he couldn't afford the time to build onto our own house, he would have to settle with watching birds move into their little homes. We kept an old mattress in the bed of that ugly yellow truck, so we would drive it deep into the woods and then watch the birds fly into their houses while the sun set. Usually it was accompanied by venison jerky or cold Coke, but not a lot of talking, which is how we both liked it.
Czy to drzewo było tu wcześniej? A nie, okej. Chyba nie mogę wleźć na samą górę. Ale to było zamknięte. No, come on. Okej, okej, udało się.
The perpetrator stood nearby, unfazed, like nothing was wrong. My dad is dead, and he's never coming back, Rachel. I can tell you these stories, but I can never reminisce with him again. He can never hold a grandchild that we'll probably never be able to have. I can never talk to him again, and I'll never be able to say I'm sorry for everything.
Okej, czyli to jest tak, że ojciec głównego bohatera umarł, a tutaj osoba, która to zrobiła, jest symbolizowana przez Mikeła, który prawdopodobnie zadusił maleństwa naszej lisicy. To trzeba go w nią dorwać. I też wszystko zasnuło się mgłą. Zrobiło się... Niby jest wciąż pastelowo, ale ciemniej. Bardziej mrocznie.
I need to go to bed. I just can't talk about this anymore. Good night.
Okej, on się już pożegnał. Tutaj nie widzę więcej gwiazdek. No ale pewnie się jeszcze będzie męczył. do tego wrócimy. To jest dziwne.
Joseph, you can't go to sleep feeling like this. I'm sorry for everything, and I know you need space, but I'm here for you. You don't need to feel so lost. Joseph, have I ever told you what my mother was like?
O.
You know what it's like not to have a mom at home. And you know how hard that made my childhood. What helped me was watching the birds in the morning before the school bus came. I thought that my mother was one of those birds, and it made me want to be free like her. My mom taught me how to fold origami cranes while she was in the hospital. So I told myself I would fold one every day until I could fly myself.
Okej, to będę biegł dalej w tę stronę, bo tutaj pobiegła ta łania. Jakkolwiek co jakiś czas się rozglądam. Niby biegnę, ale to nie wygląda, jakby się dokąd zbliżam. Okej. Dotknąłem nosem krawędzi mapy.
You have strength, Joseph, and you're not as alone as you think.
It's all just so pointless. Just waiting for life to happen. It's like having the home I always wanted is cursed out of my reach. The thought of being a parent myself. How could I do that when I couldn't even be a good son? I'm sorry. I know what you're saying. I just don't know how things will work out. These quiet hours will turn into years. We'll wonder which roads passed us by.
Then we'll forge a new road together. Besides, I discovered for myself that one fateful morning where any hopeful road leads to. There may be thorns and mist, but it always leads to the same thing.
And what's that?
Family.
I'm so glad that you're part of my family, Rachel.
And I'm glad you're part of mine.
są niewidzialne ściany. Ciekawe, czy od tych gwiazdek coś potem zależy, czy zbieramy je, żeby sobie zbierać coś. Myślę, żeby nie biec ciągle tylko przed siebie. Na pewno część gwiazdek jest po prostu na ścieżce, a po inne trzeba z tej ścieżki schodzić.
The fox knew her last cub would be waiting for her at the first tree. She was almost there. The rain cascaded onto the jade valley where the entrance to the tree was. Life was protected there, because that's where life began. It was now only a mother and a daughter left. Items from my life still dotted the ground as she moved closer to her destination and destiny.
Ale jak to jedno zostało, to tamten wilkeł stał przy drugim, to nawet nie zauważyłem. Może go już zjadł. Tego dzieciaczka biednego. Okej, dostałem też achievement za 100 gwiazdek.
At the end of high school, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Drive. I looked into the best architecture schools on the West Coast and got a dose of reality when looking at other students' portfolios and the high cost of tuition. I still wanted to be something, to be the next Alvaro Siza, and to make those thousands of sketches worth something in my grand history. But now even an internship sounds impossible. Siza helped me understand how essential emotion is in architecture, and he also said light is the real composer of space. I like to think these glints of light, like not finding a job or even a strange dream about a fox, are something I should be thankful for, even if the illuminated space is something I'm less than comfortable with. My dad was super supportive with my college plans, to a point. Things were okay until this terrible accident happened. I guess a forklift flipped over due to a bad axle, and it crushed one of the workers there. My dad didn't eat for days, even though he wasn't directly involved. It devastated him. Not only did it hurt the business, but it just freaked him out. He would talk in his sleep, muttering things about firing people and saying sorry. One fateful day he approached me, said that since my school search wasn't going well, I should finally be a man and take over the family business. He said one day he was going to die, and that all of his work, sacrifice, and even that man's life would be wasted in vain. I just lost it. Teenage me just exploded at the thought. I screwed up. I said things I shouldn't have. He was having a crisis, and I pretty much spit in his face.
Ciekawe, czy mam się dostać tam na górę, czy iść po prostu tędy. No ale to też porusza całkiem istotną kwestię tego, co byśmy chcieli robić w stosunku do tego, w czym jesteśmy dobrzy, albo no, do czego mamy predyspozycję. On ewidentnie chciał zostać architektem, ale być może nie miał do tego drygu. A może miał, ale za mało ćwiczył, nie wiem w sumie. No bo niby tysiące skeczy i tak, przepraszam, nie skeczy, tylko szkiców stworzył, ale czy były to dobre rysunki? Czy faktycznie robił postępy? Tego nie wiemy. No dobrze, gra prowadzi nas dalej, ale 30 minuta upływa, więc do usłyszenia następnym razem, kiedy poznamy dalszą historię Józefa i być może dowiemy się, co stało się z ostatnim szczenięciem naszej lisicy. Cześć!